of the African National Congress, a husband and a father. At the time of Mr. Crisande's assassination, the negotiations for a free and equal South Africa had stalled, and his tragic death forced the negotiating parties to set a date for the first democratic general elections on the 27th April 1994. So every year that we celebrate Freedom Day as a country, we are in large part indebted to the death of Crisande. Mr. Walus was sentenced to death on the 15th of October 1993 for the assassination, and on 7th November 2000, his sentence was commuted to life imprisonment. Mr. Walus held dual citizenship, that of Poland and South Africa, from 1986 to 2017, when his South African citizenship was revoked, and now he holds only Polish citizenship. Several ministers of Correctional Services denied Walus' application for parole since 2011. On 21 November 2022, the Constitutional Court ordered that Janusz Walus be placed on parole within 10 days of the date of the order, in line with the applicable legislation. At the time, the applicable legislation prescribed a parole period of 2 years. Then Janusz Walus was subsequently placed on parole on the 7th of December 2022 and subject to parole conditions. Today, the 6th of December 2024, the parole period of Janusz Walus has come to an end in line with the Constitutional Court decision. Since Janusz Walus no longer holds any South African enabling documents, the Department of Home Affairs will be deporting him. This morning, the National Commissioner of Correctional Services will formally hand over Janusz Walus to the Department of Home Affairs for deportation. The handover and deportation process is being overseen by the National Joint Operational and Intelligence Structures, commonly known as the Red Joints, following a cabinet briefing earlier this week. In preparation for this deportation, Cabinet assigned Deputy President Mr. Paul Mashatile, the Minister in the Presidency Khumbudzo Ntshavheni, Minister of Justice Ms. Mamoloko Kubai, and Minister of Home Affairs Dr. Leon Schreiber to visit the family of the late Crisande to inform them of these developments. During this engagement, the government delegation received a request for an inquest from Mr. Hannes' wife or widow and the South African Communist Party. The request will be referred to the Department of Justice and Correctional Services to process it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Minister, for the statement. Colleagues, let me open first for questions in the press room, and later on we'll take the questions that are online. Where is the same? Indicate to the media house that you come from, and also introduce yourself. Let me see if we have any hands in the house. In that order, let me recognize the hands, please. hand. I don't see any other hand. On that note, I will give over to Minister in the Presidency and she will acknowledge or respond to questions.
Thank you very much, and good morning from my side as well, on what is a difficult day for all of us and for South Africa. Allow me to respond to the first three questions that were asked. We can indicate that the deportation will take place today still, so it is happening on the 6th of December. The question around the meeting, let me indicate from the Home Affairs side that as soon as we were informed about our role here, this issue was immediately taken to first the JCPS cluster and then to the full cabinet meeting which took place on Wednesday. You'll appreciate that Home Affairs comes in at the end of such a process. It's the last phase of this particular constitutional court audit process. And so from the Home Affairs side we can indicate that we've certainly appreciated fully the sensitivity and urgency of this matter, and we acted upon that immediately, including in terms of being part of the delegation to engage with the family once Cabinet had made that indication. Finally, the question around costs was one of the very first things that I queried as well. And I'm happy to report that South African taxpayers, including Mr. Janusz Walus, will not be paying for the deportation of this individual. The Polish embassy has indicated that they will do so, and I think that reflects once again the urgency and sensitivity with which Home Affairs is handling this matter to make sure that we make the best of a very difficult situation, at least in terms of the administrative and other processing matters that are required of us.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. In relation to the request for an inquest, it has been made by both Mrs. Hani Ostimpo and together with SSCP. And what the process will be is that we will definitely engage with them, because this was made when we met with them. So we'll take the process, look at the legal framework, and because they believe that there's evidence that could have led to a different conclusion. There are things that they believe were not looked into that they shared with us in the meeting. So we will definitely have to take that up with the various bodies that are responsible for this work, and we will interact with the family together with the SSP in this regard.
Thank you, Ministers of Home Affairs and Justice. Let me check if we have any questions online. Tagala. Do we have any questions online? Thank you very much. This is the statement that the test has clarified with clarity. And thank you very much. Given that Minister, you have the statement, we'll also, in the absence of any follow-up questions, give you a platform also to round up the briefing. And for those who request one-on-ones, and different MLOs of the ministers are here, we will approach them to arrange one-on-ones if necessary. Do you have any follow-up? What did I attempt to? Thank you very much, Minister.
The pain of losing a loved one, more especially in a manner that it was so horrendous, so planned, meticulous, and also the rationale in which the case was conducted, it's appalling at most. Mr. Walus was arrested. Hardly 2 months later, he was convicted in 1993 by the apartheid government. And why the request for an inquest is because there are many questions for the family and also for South Africans in general that remain unanswered. So as government, we appreciate the pain of Mme Pohan and her children, and also South Africans at large, and the Communist Party, and the Mass Democratic Movement at large. And it's for that reason that as cabinet we decided, the president decided he's sending a delegation so that they do not read it in newspapers, they don't see it anywhere. And it was not just a small delegation, it was a powerful delegation. But secondly, as we have indicated in the statement, since 2011, our Ministers of Justice and Correctional Services fought against the parole. But there is no appeal beyond the Constitutional Court. When a Constitutional Court has taken a decision, made an order, that decision is final. So this is not a decision of the government. This is a decision of the Constitutional Court. And we are merely abiding by that decision. Because when we don't abide, we are going to say the government is truant. And it's also from that Concord decision that we learned. Because when the Concord prescribed even the parole period in terms of applicable legislation, which then became 2 years, a paltry 2 years. It's a sore point for us. But as government, we went back and said we need to change this. Lifers, their parole is for life. And that's because you learn as you go and you correct as you go. And that's the corrections we do. Because we understand that way. Because for us, the life of South Africans matter, irrespective of their stature. But a hero for our struggle, a contributor to the democracy that we today enjoy and we forget that people lost their lives. His life will never be forgotten. So we share the pain of Ms. Hani, but we're going to continue to endeavor to make sure as we redress, and we accept that the redress period has not been enough. That's why we have been opening inquests of Dr. Griffith Mpenge, the Dr. Smelane, and number of inquests are continuing to be held so that we find closure and understand, but also so that we don't repeat the mistakes. If you recall on the cabinet statement of yesterday, we indicated that as we celebrate the Reconciliation Day, we are going to have an overview of what does the Truth and Reconciliation Commission work done. Because there's a sense in the country that we have forgiven our oppressors, but with no benefit to the oppressed. And we'll have to engage as a nation to say what must become the benefit of the oppressed. That's why the government of national unity has prioritized that we must have inclusive growth that creates jobs, so that our people do not continue to languish in poverty. This freedom is not about politics. This freedom must be about bread and butter and the ability to live comfortably in this land called South Africa. And I hope as we celebrate this December Reconciliation Month, we are all going to reflect on our role of building a just and equal South Africa and deal decisively with the scourges of racism that continues to rear their heads, and hope the court will also do the convictions that are concomitant to the crimes, so that the families that lose loved ones do not feel undone unjustly by the court decisions. And we hope the prosecutors, when the police have arrested, will do what is required and make sure those people are sent behind bars. That's why we're also amending we mentioned yesterday the omnibus bill that we're taking to Parliament from the Department of Justice, because we are amending administrative of justice matters, including dealing with bail, because a person can be given bail for raping a child in this country. So we want to make sure the life of South Africans matters. So this Reconciliation Month of December, as we celebrate our 30th of freedom and democracy, we must reflect on how we build a free, fair and equal South Africa, and how all of us play our part. Thank you. You must have a lovely weekend for now. Thank you.
Just Minister, you have activated the pot of hands. I'm not sure. I think I have closed the formal session of the questions, but anyway, we are not closing out any one-on-ones that